Hey there, I am so sorry. I completely forgot, so thank you for the reminder. I'm in a voice chat just because it's a bajillion times easier than me trying to type this out. So your first question was, how long have you been taking pictures and how long have you been in business? So there are two of us, so this gets a little bit complicated, I guess. For this question, how long have we been taking pictures? We're sisters, so Ashley is 3 years older than me, and in our high school we had a graphics class. And in that class, we were taught how to use film cameras and about film photography and all of the ins and outs of that. So our passion kind of started there. And then Shannon, knew I wanted to be a photographer and was going to go to school for it after I had my senior pictures done. But then I decided I didn't know if I could make a career out of it. So I nixed that idea and went for business instead. So it's always been on my mind, even when I was in high school, going into college. And then at the same time, my sister was in college for graphic design. And then she got a job at a local newspaper in town. And that started her graphic design career. And then was asked to help edit photos for family who took pictures as well. So that kind of introduced her to the industry. And I always joked with her, how cool would it be if I took the pictures and you edited them? It kind of was haha, that would be funny. So fast forward a few years, when I graduated college, my now husband purchased me a camera as a gift. And I did not realize this capped out at a minute. So he purchased me, I need to talk faster, I'm long-winded as you can tell, a camera. And my sister was like, hey, I want one of those. So she grabbed one and started teaching herself how to use it. And her children were her muses. And she's very self-taught. Then I had my daughter in 2013. And while I was pregnant, one of our cousins asked Ashley to take pictures of them at their wedding in Punta Cana, and she looked at me and said, I have never done anything like this. I have no idea what I'm doing. Can I practice on you and your husband? And she did our maternity pictures, and that pretty much kicked off the photography business. That was the fall of 2012. Then I had my daughter in 2012, October. I saw her newborn pictures being done, and I was like, oh, I want to do that. This is the coolest thing ever. And I had expressed that with my sister, and at the same time, she had multiple people reaching out to her to take family pictures in the fall. And in January of 2013, we sat down and decided, hey, we should give this a try. And that began Nickabella Photography. So January of 2013 started our business. So the short answer to that question is we have been in business. We are in our 6th year of business, and I would say doing photography probably since about 2010 is the most accurate date. So for about 9 years. Okay, who did we reach out to for business advice? That was really hard. So we had reached out to a local photographer that's maybe about an hour away from us and asked some questions, and she gave us a little bit of information, but had said I'll throw together some resources. That never happened. So we really wung it. And not our best move. If we could go back and redo a lot of things, that would definitely be it. So Google was a huge resource. I work at a college, so I asked some accounting instructors for some help. I kind of reached out to a handful of different people, but I will say it was a huge learning curve, and the resources out there suck. So I think a lot of photographers who just kind of start on their own, we weren't officially legal until, well, I shouldn't say that. I mean, we were legal, we were paying taxes the whole entire time, but we became an LLC and stuff like that 3 years ago. So I feel finally had nailed it down 3 years ago. The entire time we did use a contract. I paid a lot of, I knew I loved for the photography world, so I had paid a lot of attention to things, so I knew a contract was really important. The Law Tog we used for that. So that we always had, which was really good. Insurance, we had just through our regular homeowners insurance. We just recently changed that all over within the last 3 years, which I feel like makes it a lot more legit. I don't know. But we didn't make, our profit wasn't huge the first couple years, so we just filed under myself personally, and now we're an LLC, so that makes it different. But that was really hard. Probably the hardest part about the business was that whole business side of it. And we did not have a lot of great resources. So a lot of trial and error and figuring stuff out on our own. Best way to attract clients. I would say hands down, word of mouth has been huge for us. We were very, very lucky that our business started off super strong. May have had something to do with the fact that we were extremely underpriced. But, you learn all that the hard way as well. We started with a lot of friends and family just based off of Facebook. I feel like we came into the game just after Facebook was huge for businesses. It definitely helped us, but we started hitting some of those Facebook roadblocks that everybody struggles with now. So it wasn't 100% Facebook that helped us. However, Facebook was also a huge tool for us. So it was friends and family getting the word out, but the way that they utilized Facebook to help was giant. I will say that I still think Facebook and Instagram are our two most popular ways next to word of mouth. If it was not for that, I don't feel like we would be where we're at today. Maybe I'm wrong, but social media has been huge. So, but yeah, word of mouth is hands down the most important thing. We have very few clients that just randomly find us as opposed to hearing about us from someone else. So, word of mouth. Current business model. I don't really know how to answer this one. We are not, we work full-time jobs and then do photography on the side. We're both moms to 3 children. Who are now in sports and stuff. I'm lucky enough to have just 1 in sports. Ashley has 2 in sports. So we are crazy busy. So in-person sales is not something that we have time to do. So we were giving everything away. But we also are the type of photographer that loves to tell a story. And it was really hard for us to tell a story in 20 pictures or less. So we found ourselves charging $400 and delivering 150 images, and both of us were going to the session, and that just wasn't working for us. It didn't make sense. We were giving everything away, and we knew that, but we didn't know how to make a change. So we now kind of have our own little twist on in-person sales. It's not really in-person sales, but we have 3 package options that range from $400 to, depending which type of session, $900 or $1,000, and then the option for even more. And we are working way less, which is amazing because most people pick our middle package. So we're only editing 30 pictures instead of 150, and we're making $700 instead of $400. So that's been huge. Storytelling, because we didn't want to lose that really key piece to our business that set us apart from everybody else. Like, that's what we thrived on, is telling a story of the family, but we wanted to still be able to make a profit, which was turning out to be next to impossible. So this is our first full year with this business model, and it started last year, but it's going really, really well, and I don't know if that answers that question. So if you need more information, just holler. Oh, I kind of explained why we picked that model, but this isn't how we always had done it. So if I could go back in time, and I know Ashley would agree, we completely underpriced ourselves for way too long. So it was terrifying to raise prices, and I think everybody deals with that because you don't want to lose your clients, and you don't like. I feel bad sometimes, but yeah, you're running a business, so you can't feel bad, and you have to take into account of all of your expenses, which we weren't always doing because, again, learning curve. So if I could go back and do it all again, cost of doing business would be huge to look at, as opposed to just like taking a dollar amount, putting it on a board and deciding, yep, that's what we're going to, $100 sounds right. So I think just being smarter about trying to make a profit. I do think it was important in the beginning because you need to build a client base, you need to build a reputation, and so on and so forth. But we definitely underpriced ourselves for way too long, for way too many years. And that increase was too slow. So if I could go back, it would be to do that all again, a little bit over. But I think the rest of our business model, the way we had come to where we at, was perfect. It helped us kind of become who we are. We started off a little bit more posed, a little bit more like typical, I don't want to say old school because it's still beautiful photography, but typical portrait posed work, outside still, but we really found that the fun, small little details and candid lifestyle type stuff was more our gig. So, but I don't think we would have known that had we not started the other way. My biggest advice is to, one, find somebody in the industry that you can trust, which I know can be hard, mostly just to be a friend. And it maybe doesn't even have to be a photographer, but somebody in the creative industry. This industry is lonely, and I don't think a lot of people talk about that. And it can be hard. We're very lucky that there's two of us, so we have each other, which is amazing. Making friends in this industry, especially locally, is really hard. So I think finding somebody who's not local to you is a lot easier. People are a lot more willing to give you information. And I think knowing some of that is always a good heads up. And then also, don't underprice yourself for too long. You need to be able to make a profit, and that's huge. So just be smart about the business side of things and try and do as much stuff right as possible. Like get your business insurance. I don't know where that cut off. Business insurance, contracts, stuff like that is super amazing. Equipment is great and important, but you can still create beautiful work and beautiful art with like not super amazing equipment. For 5 years, we used a Canon 6D with a $150 50 millimeter lens. I mean, that's what our business was built on. We just switched over to the Canon 35 millimeter lenses this year. And I mean, they're amazing and I love the quality, but we built our business off of, cameras that are good quality, but not the best of the best. So maybe don't focus so much on that as opposed to just building your business, trying to set yourself apart. That's going to be huge. Your customer service is like so important. So kind of focusing on stuff like that as opposed to the cool, technology you can have your hands on. The time you messed up and felt like you failed. This is a really great question. Gosh, I don't know, that we've felt we've had any major failures. We've been very, very lucky. I read and read and read, and I know Ashley reads everything. We're in a ton of photography groups. I'm constantly learning stuff, so that has helped us stay ahead of some of those major tragedies that have happened to people, with not having a contract and stuff like that. My hard drive died one time, my external hard drive. Thankfully, it was old, and 80% of it was client sessions that had already been past our contract, our obligations. And I just said a lot of prayers to the big man upstairs, hoping that people didn't come back and want any pictures that we had lost. Thankfully, I got very, very lucky that did not happen. That was probably one of the biggest eye-opening moments for me, that backing up is so important. I lost a lot of personal images, which were heartbreaking. So that was one huge, but I don't know to say that I failed. I learned from it. You're going to learn a lot. There doesn't go by a 3-month period where we haven't learned something huge. So I think more than feeling like we failed, it's more of like constantly being aware and paying attention to learn. To not be afraid to be like, oh shoot, we did that wrong and now we need to fix it. And just staying on top of stuff. Like I just looked over our contract the other day because we haven't looked it over, and I was like, oh, there's some really goofy wording in here that no longer fits for us. So we adjusted all of that. So I think that's huge. We started doing weddings and quickly realized weddings were not for us. So but one huge eye-opening thing was we had a bride who hated her pictures. And that was like the most heartbreaking thing in the entire world. We felt awful. So I guess thankfully we had already decided not to be doing weddings anymore. But that was pretty hard to hear. You don't ever want to hear someone doesn't like your pictures. In the end, we're pretty sure she just wanted money back. But because she had posted them all and everything. But either way, that's hard to hear. And then so I guess taking criticism with a grain of salt, but you still have to be professional and like willing to learn from it. And then one other thing, newborn photography. We thought we were going to be like the greatest newborn photographers in the world when we started, and we quickly learned to absolutely hate it because we couldn't get the babies to sleep. Our work looked like crap compared to amazing photographers out there. And yeah, we stopped. So I think one thing for somebody new is like, it's okay to not be good at everything. It's okay to stop doing it for a while, reevaluate, teach yourself more stuff, take time to learn, and then come back at it. Now we do photography, newborn photography. It has a different style and we love it. And we've learned a ton. We have invested a lot in our newborn photography to learn, and we're back. And like, yeah, we weren't great at it before, but it was okay, and we learned from it. So don't be afraid to not be good at every genre that's out there. Find what you love and shoot what you love, and then also try not to get caught up in the comparison game. It's practically impossible, but maybe like have someone that can keep you in check, that when you are comparing yourself to someone and feeling like you absolutely suck, like get yourself back in check, because what we all do is different, and the reason we shoot is different, and the art we create is different, and that's what makes us who we are and why our clients love us. So it's very easy to fall into that. That's probably where we feel like we've failed the most in our business, as in like we compare ourselves to others and be like, oh, we're not doing as good as these people, and our style has changed, and blah 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 blah. And we can sit back and be like, okay, we're being ridiculous. People like our work. We're creating beautiful images. It helps us to be better, but also you can fall into that hole. So I don't know. I guess that's my advice. Okay, that was a lot. I hope you find that helpful. If you have any follow-up questions, let me know. If I didn't hit on anything I was supposed to, let me know. But yeah, sorry that's so much. I clearly like to talk.